Hey guys, Brian here for Better Chess Training, and in today's video we're going to be going over a couple of tactical problems that I've been posting on the community tab of the channel, and these were from the last couple of weeks. We got two problems, so I hope you were able to check those out. If not, try them out here, and I'll explain the rationale behind the thought process as well as the solutions. Okay, this is the first position we're going to look at today, and I put it in the community tab a couple weeks ago and challenged you guys to try to calculate out all the relevant variations and understand the ideas. And that was a couple weeks ago. However, if you've never seen this position before, it's white to play. If you want, you can pause it and try to figure it out. Okay, if you are ready to go, let's go and look at the solution. So what are the ideas here? The idea here is that black only has to make two moves in order to promote. And if he's able to promote, most likely he's going to be able to he's going to be able to stop this pawn from promoting and be able to stop these two knights. And so with that in mind, our candidates get limited quite a bit. Now, what we're going to notice here is that there's really no way that we can get a knight to a square, either say b3 or c2, to stop this in two moves. However, we do notice that one of our knights can give black check. So that should give us kind of a place to start. Okay, so knight to f2 check is going to be one of our candidates. Now, the thing you have to notice here is that we can, when you first start exploring this, you'll see that after knight to f2 check, black has a bunch of options. So how are we going to calculate all of these? Okay. And the general idea here is that there's several moves, including knight to g3, knight to g2, and knight to h2, which kind of lead to the same conclusion. Okay, the main move we need to be worried about is this move here, which is knight to h4. And let me show you what I mean. With knight to g2, then white has the ability to put black in check, like so, and then let's say the king approaches that knight again, and then go here to a position where it can stop this pawn from promoting. And then if the king keeps moving towards it, white is going to be able to promote first, and even if he has to sacrifice this knight or move this knight here to a2. Let me just show a couple moves just to show you that illustration. Oh, king to c2, and we can keep pushing, and that'll get the job done. King to b3, a7, and king takes a2, and here we promote, and from here we'll be able to win the game. Okay, so let's go back here. So after knight to f2 check, so that was king to g2. With king to h2, it's a little similar in that we have knight to g4 check, and then again if the king tries to attack this knight, here we can move here, and now if the pawn does move, we can get here with knight to c2 in order to stop it. Okay, so hopefully you guys saw that. Okay, and then black's other option among this, I guess you could say, classification of responses would involve king to g2. And in this case, white doesn't get the check on this move, but he can play knight to d3, and then if a2, then knight to e1 check. And after the king attacks it with king to f1, for example, we again have knight to c2 stopping this pawn, and then white will be able to promote his pawn first. Now, the situation, hopefully, that you saw is that black can have a little bit of a trickier move here in king to h4, because now white does not have the ability to deliver that check in one move or two moves. So he's not going to be able to stop this pawn. However, once you see this, hopefully, and this is sort of where the tactical patterns come in, especially there's a specific checkmate with two knights. And the basic idea here is that you can, with the king helping, you can use the two knights to checkmate the king. So you just have to do a few, hopefully you're able to see that you had that pattern and look for that opportunity. And the move to make here is knight to c6. Okay, and then you would calculate here. Again, if he attacks this pawn, then we go back to our similar variation, right? Or if he attacks this knight, then we could go with the knight to e4 check and then go after this pawn directly. But instead, if he pushes this pawn, remember, we're not going to be able to stop it from promoting, but this is where hopefully we saw the pattern, and then we can play here knight to d4, and then actually the pawn can promote, but it's going to be checkmate. Okay? And that is the solution for the first problem. And at any point that black doesn't promote, one of those knights is going to be able to stop that pawn. Okay, so that was the first problem. I hope you were able to figure that out. And again, you didn't need to calculate every single, king to G3 variation, for example, in that last variation. But again, just had to see that you would be able to either checkmate the black king or put your knights in a position to be able to stop the pawn. Okay, our second problem was posted in the community tab about a week ago. And here it's black to play. And once you get the initial concept, it is a matter of calculating out your opponent's replies. And so I found this problem interesting because you needed to look a couple moves down to see that there was only one option in terms of looking at this. So let's take a look at this position. Again, if you have not seen this before or solved this already, pause the video for a few minutes and see if you can come up with the answer. Again, trying to come up with your opponent's best replies and your replies as well. Okay, so after looking this for a little bit, you may have toyed around with taking on d1, for example, or maybe some ideas of trying to swing the rook over to attack the king. And then you may have came upon the idea that if you can get this queen over to the b file, you may be able to get some type of checkmate here on b2. The problem, of course, being that this this bishop can be annoying. So the candidates the main candidates I came up with were queen to f4 and queen to b8, because the idea here would be the first line here would be queen to f4 check, and then bishop to e3, and then queen to b4. So maybe you came up with that, or queen to b8. So you may have come up with that idea. And then the other thought is queen to b8. And from here, you may have seen that this bishop here can cover this check. Okay? So that would be sort of the superficial look at things. And maybe you guys saw that and then you picked one of the two. Now, when you see these two, they both look decent in a way, but you need to look further. Okay, so let's take a look at each of them in turn and see what happens. So after queen to e3 check, you might have also seen ideas like queen to e3 instead of bishop to e3. But bishop to e3 is the most direct, I think. And then after bishop to b4, white might take here. Okay, and hopefully, and this is the key here, is to be able to see this from the original position, which takes both the visualization skill as well as the um, being able to see the concept, okay, or the pattern, okay. And in this case, after queen to b2 check, the problem here is after king to d1, queen to b1, we actually have here bishop to c1 blocking, and now white's or black is really up in a lot of trouble here because white is just up a lot of material. Basically up a rook if you count these pawns, these extra pawns that black has. Okay, so let's go back to our other candidate. And after queen to b8, okay, well, the problem is, and the reason you might have picked queen to f4 if you did not look more than superficially, is that after queen to a3, you might have thought, oh, well, he can stop this threat, the other solution might be correct. But then if you think to yourself, well, actually, I have this here, and actually you may have toyed around with some queen takes d1 check ideas, or rook takes d1 check and realized that didn't work. But actually what you have here is simply rook to b7. If you're able to see this, it's fairly simple, but you had to get kind of past that initial, finding that bishop to a3 and then choosing to look an extra move ahead. So here, after rook to b8, there's no way to stop rook to b1 mate, and so white can delay it by giving up his rook, but otherwise black has a large advantage. What I would like to do here is just take a quick look and see after queen. So queen to b8 is the answer, but after queen to f4, after queen to e3, this also effectively stops this this move here, because now the queen doesn't really have a lot of options, because I guess he can move back here like this, and after rook takes d7, queen takes d7, queen takes c3, then again white is in control at that point. So let's just go back real quick and just show you. So the answer is, just to make it clear, queen to b8, and then bishop to a3, the only thing stopping mate right away, and then rook to b8, and then it's either going to be mate or white is going to have to give up a little bit of material to stop mate. So I hope you were able to get that. If you didn't get it, try to figure out why. Did you make a superficial solution or a superficial response? Did you not look far enough? The answer to those questions will really help you to improve your tactical training and your chess vision. Okay, hey guys, hope you enjoyed those videos. I hope you really found them helpful in terms of expanding your tactical insight as well as your tactical vision. When you're doing your chess training problems, whether it be from a book or from a chess server like chess.com Tactics or Chess Tempo, it is important to try to push your calculation as far as you think is necessary, and try not to make those superficial views. That's how you're going to be able to improve your calculation skills as well as your tactical pattern recognition. Over here, I have some more tips on tactics. It's actually one of my early videos, but just talking about the difference between tactics pattern recognition and tactics to improve things like visualization and calculation skills. You need them both to be good at chess and chess tactics, and so check out that video.